Biggest mistake we ever made. The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show fan page can be found live at Martin Houston Live on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as at Tide 109 on Facebook. And don't forget at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. We're live and local and ready to get things rolling on this Monday morning. So we want to invite you in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business, and want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Once again, that Taco Casa hotline is open for business, 205-342-9904. We're talking Bama hoops. How you feel coming out of that game with Bama versus Kentucky. Of course, Alabama falling 90-81. Disappointment and excitement, optimism, even though you lost a game. Can this team close out the season on a run, mixing in a loss to number 4 Kentucky, potentially within a 7-1 run. Bama finishing the season out with Vanderbilt, South Carolina, A&M, LSU, at LSU. Can this team go into the tournament with SEC tournament with a 4-game win streak and winning 7 out of their last 8 games? And if so, how do you feel about their chances to advance into the big show, the big dance? And of course, barring something, they're definitely going to be playing day 1 of the SEC tournament. So that goal now out of the way, most likely. But how you feel about this Bama Crimson Tide basketball team? Just wondering your thoughts. I kind of had mixed emotions from Saturday as we saw some things that made you go, okay, that's what we've been waiting on, and then it disappeared. So anyway, that's part of the conversation today. Also, hey, let's talk about Nick Saban, potential glass ceiling. It's hard to believe that there's things that Nick Saban hasn't accomplished as a coach. He has some unbelievable records, but he has one thing that has eluded him. Will he finally get that this year in the spring of 2022? We can talk about what that is. Also, who are going to be the team leaders as we roll into 2022? Is it going to be the obvious guys, or will there be someone else step up, potentially newcomers to the Crimson Tide that may be guys that will be the guys we're talking about this time next year as the key players that helped Alabama potentially win another national title? With spring just around the corner, we want to begin to have that conversation. And then definitely last but not least, at some point this week, if not today, we want to talk about these new four coaches that Bama added to their staff and who they are. And and when you add the 4 coaches and the 2 of the that we didn't put, we hadn't talked much about Barker being on as one of the analysts, but he is. But All the other outside analysts that appear to be added and our coaches all have something in common. What is that? Well, we're going to talk about all of that and more right here on the Martin Houston Show. And as we move into the remainder of the morning, don't forget to put your thoughts and comments on chat. Love to hear from you there as well. And once again, the Taco Casa hotline open for business. All right. Good morning, Mason. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good this morning. I was a little disappointed in the outcome of that basketball game, but what do you do?
Yeah, well, it's such a that was such a roller coaster. I mean, the way we came out playing early I mean, that's what you've been looking for, right? Keon Ellis, the guy we thought was going to step in and possibly take some of that, um, 3-point shooting role and responsibility that Alabama had been known for. He came out coming off of a 0-9 start shooting game against the prior opponent. Then he comes out in this game and starts the game like 5 in a row, 6 for 7, and then he just disappeared. I mean, I'm like, how do you just disappear and just I don't know. He was just gone. But everybody was hitting early in that game, and you're thinking, okay, this is the Alabama team that we've expected all year. And it was, I don't know if you realize, it was 41-28, right? 41-28. The score ended 90-81. Do you realize how bad that is? That that that, that they it 62-40 in the last half and a couple minutes of the first half. And they went from a 13. It's hard to give up a 13-point lead, Mason. And then it's even harder to be down by 13 in 5 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes, but that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? So as you watch that game, you're like, what happened? It just at one point that we turnovers were way down. Like in the first half, we may have had 3 turnovers. We ended the game with only 9 turnovers, but they had 6 steals, all critical at moments when we were trying to make a comeback. Our field goal percentage ended up at .435, 43.5%. Our 3-point percentage, which is good compared to what we've been shooting in SEC play, was 35%. You know what Kentucky's 3-point percentage was? 64.3%. I only think did anybody other than Grady hit a 3-pointer? I mean, I think one Brooks may have hit one. One other guy may have hit one. I was like, guard the guy. Just guard him. Anyway, let me give the highlights of what came out of that game. Alabama, of course, fell 90-81. They held a double-digit lead, of course, late in the first half. But the Wildcats' hot shooting for the final 20 minutes was hard to overcome. And senior guard Keon Ellis led the Crimson Tide with a career-high 28 points. So maybe, just maybe, like I said, I wasn't expecting us to win this game. I was hoping we could win it. Wasn't expecting it. Really had predicted that this team would go 7-1 down the stretch to close out the season, and I think that's still a possibility. He knocked down 10 of 16 shots from the field, 7 of 11 from 3-point. The problem is, at one point he was 5 for 5 and 6 for 7. So he ended up, shooting and missing some key ones. But he didn't take any for a while. Just went cold. He also added 5 rebounds, tied his career high of 4 steals. Jaden Shackelford added 18 points and 5 rebounds. And Noah Gurley added 12 points off the bench. And then that's where the next guy up, I think, was J.D. Davison. Quinterly was a non-factor. Mason, what are your thoughts about Shibwe? I think Oscar Shibwe is an unbelievable player, but do you think he gets away with a little pushing and over the back action? Does he get the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, I think he does.
I,
I think he's very similar to like a Walker Kessler. He's just so big, and everything he does looks like a foul almost. So they don't call him for everything.
Yeah, I watched him, and early in the game, he tries it out. He sees what they're going to let him get away with, and I'm not saying the guy is really really good, and has a nice. I think he has a nice mid range shot. He seems to have really worked on that and gotten better at it. And he ended up with 21 points, 14 rebounds, which is actually below. I think he's averaging like 15 point, almost 16 points per rebound. I mean, a game. So, but it just seems like he gets away with um with the physicality, and that's what I tell someone. That's what you do, though. You kind of watch the other team and see what they're going to do. I mean, the officials, and if they let you get away with it, you go ahead and take care of it. C.J. Watson says there's a maturity that has to be gained by this team. Maturity that doesn't let officiating affect effort and how you run your offense. There was a heavy slant in calls against Alabama, especially in the first half, and they never recovered. Yep, because at one point, Kentucky had outscored us. I don't remember the exact number of free throws, but I know they had a 9-point advantage in the first half on from the free throw line. So, but they have to do a better job of still trying to play their game, crash the boards, not stand around, take good shots. That's on Bama, not the rest. If I were a betting man, I would have had my money on UK going in. So I'm not super disappointed in the outcome. There were moments of greatness that they can take with them and build from. And that's why I asked the question, you know, um, in terms of uh, things they can learn from this game that could be beneficial down the stretch. Man, if they get the shooting going, uh, it was like we just quit playing defense though around the perimeter. Uh, they had one guy knocking down threes, and we never, we just, Keon Ellis at one point was really really tight on him and holding him, but when he wasn't in, the guy just had his way. And Mason, did you see when he wasn't even paying attention, the ball hit him on the hip, and then he puts up a three?
That was just the dagger right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That was a perfect culmination of the game.
It really was. I mean, it was like okay. When that happened, I was like, if you're Bama, you just go, it's their day. But how big was it when we were, what was it, down 7? Keon Ellis makes a steal, and is gonna go in and make it a 5-point game at least. He may get fouled, make it a 4-point game, and instead he loses the ball on his shortly after he gained possession of it to drive to take off on the fast break, and then they come down and get a 3-pointer, and it goes from, instead of it being a 5-point game, they hit a 3 and make it a 10-point game. And at that point, I think all the air went out of the sails of the Alabama Crimson Tide. So it's it was like I said, you can be disappointed in the way we played in spurts. Can't be shocked by the win. The loss by Alabama. They did get 81 points, which is a 20-something point swing from what they did here. They hit more threes in their first 4 shots than they did against Kentucky the first time. So that was improvement, Mason. but not enough to get over the hump against a number 4 team. And I would not be surprised once again if Alabama doesn't get some love, even though they lost. They did lose to a top 4 team once again, and their schedule just keeps getting harder and harder with each passing week. Man, if they had just taken care, Mason, of those, early losses to those really bad teams, we feel so much different about this team. But but they didn't take care of business, and so it makes you question this team going into the tournament. But if they win on a 4-game win streak, this is a team you don't want to play in the tournament. They could be an early out, or they could make you be the early out as a lower seed. So we'll watch them as the tournament gets closer. We'll follow that. Coming back on the other side, we'll transition to some football to discuss Nick Saban having, and we'll of course bring this topic back up, but there's a glass ceiling that Nick Saban, it looks like it's trending more and more uh, uh, coming back, and we'll get to our callers as well. So thank you for being a part of the conversation. Thanks for being a part of the Martin Houston Show right here on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, here we go on a Monday morning. Traffic pretty light around town. Watch out for rain later on in the morning. If you do see conditions, please give me a call. Townsend Nissan says, come on in. It's President's Day, and they've got a sale going on for you. That's Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer. I'm Captain Ray.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover exceptionally common sense.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A cloudy sky today, rain likely at times this afternoon and early tonight. The high today 62, tonight's low 58. Tomorrow much warmer, mostly cloudy. The chance of a shower during the day. Rain and strong thunderstorms likely tomorrow night. The high 76. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3240 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 55 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Partners, customer service, and creative ideas. They'll help market and grow business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. We're live and local, ready to get things going. The Playbook has been, of course, this morning talking about Bama hoops. We have a couple callers that may want to keep that conversation going, or, hey, you may want to take it in a different path. But we'll get to our callers and also Nick Saban. Great opportunity to break a glass ceiling. But first of all, let's get Pat. Pat, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Martin, I feel like Saturday I wasted a tremendous amount of my life watching the second half of that game. I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, if you feel like you wasted in the second half, that actually started at the end of the first half, Pat.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Oh my goodness!
But Keon Ellis at first half, he was special.
They all at one point we were 9 for 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Later on, we were 9 for 22. I mean, that's what I'm saying is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, whatever. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll. I mean, it was like we were 9 for 12, I think, at one point, and then they showed a stat. We were 9 for 22. I think we missed 10 in a row. 10 after starting that hot. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. Hey, one of the other things I wanted to talk about is this gymnastics team. I don't know what you know about gymnastics, but was it Sarah or was it David Patterson or was it the combination of the two?
It was the SEC. It's just like everything else, Pat. The SEC has more money, more athletes, and more great teams. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything from legendary coach Sarah Patterson and her team and her staff. If you go back and look, Pat, only a handful of teams for those first 12, 15, 20 years of gymnastics ever won. And Alabama was one of those teams. You know why? Because Coach Bryant brought Sarah Patterson in and personally told her he would help her build a great program. Okay? Now, all the other SEC schools and all the other schools out there are now investing in their programs. So I don't think that the gymnasts at Alabama and the coaching is necessarily any worse. I just think everybody else has gotten better. If that is that what you're asking is why we're not winning championship? I would
losing to Louisiana. How we're losing to Auburn
because they're better. Auburn has a gymnast that just won every event. She just won every event. Pat, the former Olympian. I mean,
I understand, but it's why we can't get those kind of athletes is what burns my butt.
Where are we ranked? Where are we ranked? Where are we ranked at as a gymnastics team? Where are we ranked at?
It doesn't matter. We lost to LSU. Is what I'm talking about. You know, it doesn't matter. It hurts my feelings to lose because we will win.
LSU is number 5, Pat. We're number 8. LSU is the number 5 gymnastics team in the country.
I understand. That's what I'm talking about. There's no reason for that to be like that. But
Pat, I would
you know,
we're top 10.
Yeah, but we were in the top 5 all the time.
Pat, when we were number 5, I'm not gonna. I don't want to be negative toward Sarah Patterson, and I can't be. She was clearly the best when she was doing it. But all of the other programs have gotten better. When it's just like hold on. It's just like when you look at Texas A&M last year, not this year. If they didn't have to play Alabama, they would have played for a national title. Agree?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's more Alabamas and Georgias in your conference, doesn't that mean that you now have a harder road to hoe? You're not giving the gymnastics team the same respect you would give Alabama. Everybody, I mean, huh?
Yeah, you're right. But hey, when I want to talk about football, just so I want
to be quick because I got 2 other callers. You got to be quick.
I see that Coach Saban is really wanting to get back to more of a physicality in football, and that's what I see. for our future, that we're going to be scary again. He wants to get back to where we impose our will on people, and I think it's coming. What do you think?
Well, I think he went and got an offensive lineman that can teach run blocking a little better, and I think that's what Kentucky had in their offensive line last year. I don't think Kentucky has the talent that we have, but and I don't think they have the running back talent that we have. But their offensive line was one of the finalists for Joe Moore Award for the top offensive line, and I think part of that was from some of their running and physicality. So that may be part of what he's doing, but that with that quarterback, he's still going to throw it all over the field. But you can still be a physical passing team as well. All right.
Yes,
Thanks, Pat. Have a good one, man. Have a good one. Thanks, Pat. All right, Tom, you in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Mark? How are you this morning?
Doing good. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Back to the basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was weird that the two pauses that the referee gave during the game, one was the young man's contact lens, and then another one in the first half on that weird foul that called on our player Darius. I can't think of his last name right now, but do you think those two pauses were weird when they came in the game?
Well, I thought that they took way too long. I thought the first one on the Darius Miles foul, I didn't really understand what they called, because if he fouled him, he hit him in the face. So I mean, technically, that's, even though it's weak and soft, it was above the neck and head, and that's usually a flagrant one. So I thought it was interesting that they just called a foul and then gave Alabama the ball back. And it took an awful long time to come up with that. And I'm trying to figure out why they didn't call them both and or give them a flagrant one. So that was weird. And even I'll give it to Calipari. He was upset because it took so long, But I do think that swung from that point on. Alabama was out of rhythm. It was kind of weird, and I put that on Darius Miles because he was the one that started it. But the second one, go ahead. Tom, I was going to say on the second one when he got the contact, that's to me is crazy that you stop a game. Like I'm a football player, and so when something like that happens, you go out and you've got to put another guy in.
Right. That's my whole point right there, Mark. And
you can't stop a game, let a guy take that whole time.
That refereeing crew, when I saw who was refereeing the game, I thought, that's my favorite crew of all of them in the SEC. And I'm a daggum. To me, this is me. It looked like they allowed Cal to bully them all afternoon.
Hey, listen, I don't know what Cal said, but if a coach puts his head forehead to forehead and you don't call something, I was shocked by that not being a call either. Because, I mean, he literally put his forehead up against him and was yelling in his face directly. And they were getting a call. That's what was interesting. So, but I did think that was bad, Tom. That to me, you can't stop a game and the momentum of a game for a contact. That guy has to go to the bench. You keep playing. I understand stopping it to get the guy off the court, but you can't stop the game, make everybody else wait while a guy puts in a contact.
Yeah, it was over 5 minutes. The thing about it is, I think we should complain. I say this every week, but I think we should complain to the league office, and they insulted Alabama, the coach, the players, and everything with the way the referees handled that game. And like I said, this crew is a no nonsense. They don't take anything off anybody. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing, the way he bullied those referees all afternoon. I just could not get over that. And I'm not saying that's the reason we lost the game, but he sure didn't it didn't help our cause in a hostile environment.
It definitely, those two calls are critical to momentum, I do believe. And in basketball, if there's a sport that has momentum and home court swings, basketball is the one that the crowd can impact, I think, as much or more than any sport that we enjoy. You know, more than football, more than, of course, baseball, soccer, anything like that. I think that basketball, the home court and the crowd uh can, and then not just momentum, just making you stop your momentum. That's why what's one of the most effective tools a coach has in his repertoire? A timeout. Yeah, I mean,
Two of them, they got 2 timeouts without having to call them.
and I would love to see. I didn't think about it. I'd love to see what the point swing were the first 3 or 4 minutes coming out of each one of those breaks.
Yeah, I didn't. Listen, I watched the game, but I didn't watch it that close. I was really frustrated though, because like I said, I keep going back to this, but the crew that was for that game, I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
I know Kentucky's going to get the benefit of the doubt because it's intimidating being inside that arena of Kentucky, but this crew generally doesn't let you. And you know what? Kentucky only had 7 fouls called on them. They were never in the freaking bonus.
Yeah, and then I said that earlier is Shabique, unbelievable talent. I mean, just unbelievable. However, I think he gets away with a lot of pushing and a lot of he has an extremely quick leap off the floor and has really long arms. But he went up Bediako's back early in the game, probably about 3 or 4 times, and I said, "Oh, they're gonna let him get away with it again. He's not gonna get called for over the back." And he never did, not one time. And it was several times. Don't get me wrong, Kentucky still wins that game, but it's just it was sad. And you saw that in a lot of ways. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, Cole, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Cole in on this side of the break. Cole, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, the one reason why we got beat in basketball was because they turnovers and forcing 3-pointer. Don't shoot threes. It's in a crucial game because we were forcing them and not just driving in. Like if you can't shoot the 3 ball, then just make the 2s. That's why we got beat, because we were up 12 and blew
it. Yeah, but we were hitting them early, Cole.
That's what I'm saying. But you can't keep shooting 3s if they're not going in the second half, though. Go in for the 2.
And when we went in for the 2, that's when we turned it over in the second half. Neither one was working in the second.
Turnovers and costly turnovers. That's what I'm saying. So you just gotta just.
Well, no. Actually, J.D. Davison needs to finish at the rim. He had 2 or 3 turnovers where he was at the rim and tried to kick it back out.
And people say he's NBA ready. He is not NBA ready.
They didn't say he was NBA. I don't think anybody said NBA ready and NBA draftable is 2 different things. He's out of here.
Exactly.
He will be. Go ahead.
Terrible.
Huh?
He's terrible.
I ain't gonna say he's terrible. I think he's just young and doesn't know he needs to be selfish. And I think somehow, some way, like when Colin Sexton came in, he was just like, I'm sorry. I know I came in with a lot of other 4 and 5 stars, but y'all need to understand, I'm going to the league and I'm taking the ball to the hole every time. Huh?
He's nothing like Colin Sexton.
I wouldn't say nothing like Colin Sexton. I think he may be more athletic than Colin Sexton. He's just not as aggressive. Do what?
Gotta get big. He's got to get bigger. He's just got to get some muscle. He's got to get ball handling skills. He's got a little bit to work on, a little bit.
I think it's just he doesn't. I think he's trying not to be selfish in the games where he's selfish. And I know you normally don't say that, but when your game is driving and finishing at the rim, and your coach wants you to kick it out, if you finish at the rim early, the kick out will be there. But he went. Do what?
He's a ball hog. He's a ball hog sometimes. He needs to pass the ball more.
Who? JD passes the ball and throws it away. I think that's what he's trying to pass it too much. That's interesting. You think he hogs the ball too much? I think he's dribbling too much to try to find a pass, which make it look like he's holding the ball too much. But I think he's trying to find a pass instead of going to that guy has a blow by that he can get to the rim. And I guarantee you it was 3 possessions in a row where he was at the rim and he threw the ball back out. And I'm like, just finish, kid. And Colin Sexton, if he went to the hole, he was going to make you foul him. You were going to have to stop him or foul him. And I think JD, when he does that, I think he's a better ball player. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's as good as Colin Sexton was at this point. But
or Josh Primo.
Do it now.
He's not near as good as Josh Primo or Kyra Lewis either. JD's not.
Primo at this point, Primo hadn't done a lot. Go back and look at Primo at this point in the season. It was what Primo did down the stretch that changed his game, and no one was expecting Primo to go.
No, he was not ready to go either. Or Kyra Lewis. I hate this one and done.
Yeah, but they
why not be a 3-year like football? That's what I'm saying.
Because these kids come to college to get a job, and if they can get a job after 1 year, I guess they're gonna take it. So
I never got my package either from whenever I played trivia with you a few months ago. I never got it.
Okay, well, hey, I'll get it to you. Just stay on the phone and give Mason your information.
Okay.
All right. Huh?
That's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Cole. All right. Let's get the break here. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue this conversation on the Martin Houston Show at Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, here we go on a Monday morning. Traffic pretty light around town. Watch out for rain later on in the morning. If you do see conditions, please give me a call. Townsend Nissan says, come on in. It's President's Day, and they've got a sale going on for you. It's Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our connect.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. And now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Next on the luge, James Cooper.
James, you're
can't lose.
I didn't think I could get a credit card either, but Credit Karma showed me cards that I'm most likely to get approved for. That's Karma Confidence.
I got a card too, James. Members who shop on Credit Karma get approved 66% more. That doesn't mean you can lose.
Lose it or leave it.
Karma Confidence. Great for credit cards. Not so great for the luge. Member approval rates in 2021, 66% higher than 2020 CFPB national average. Approval not guaranteed.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, man. It's been a fun morning. Keep trying to move away from hoops, but people want to talk Bama hoops. That's always a good thing. We got George from Macon. You're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Taking my call. Considering Davidson, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't think he's aggressive enough. I think he's plenty strong. I think he's got plenty jump. I think that he might need to work on his shot a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit more dominant. I wish he had a little bit more confidence in his shot. But I think something that kind of holds him back, he's got two guys in front of him, Shaq and Quinterly. You know, last year, they both of them played fantastically well. And I think that he needs to be a little bit more aggressive in taking opportunities away from them. As far as the game, there was so much energy in Rupp Arena for their comeback. And I'm like you, when the Kentucky guy threw the ball to the guy and he wasn't looking, he picks it up and throws a three.
Yeah.
And then when the time was running out, and their guy just throws it up and
the bank.
In the three. I mean, that's why I said enough.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't know how the ref did not tee up Kyle Perry for going head to head with him.
Yeah. I mean,
that is utterly ridiculous.
Yep. There was several. Like I said, you don't want to make excuses when a team goes into a slump like Alabama did on the shooting and stuff like that. But there were several things and key moments in that game where you go, not going to be Bama's day.
I think everybody played really hard, and I think they played really aggressive. But then, sometimes when you go a little bit cold, something gets the spark back and you get going.
Yeah.
And that kept us from getting that spark. And really, the two things that really stick out in my mind was when the guy threw it, hits him in the leg, he don't see it, he just picks it up and throws it up there. And then there was one where it was down to like 1 second, and the guy threw in a prayer, banks it in for a three. I mean,
yeah.
And it looked like there were times we took good shots. It looked like the ball was going to go down, but it popped back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one of those terrible days.
Yeah, but you're right. Those two, and they had one. They had one other one that was a 2-point shot where the guy Mintz just threw it up at the buzzer and he banked his in too. I was like, okay, it's just not gonna. Then we get to steal George and Keon Ellis is heading for the goal and leaves the ball, which would have made it a 5-point game. And then they hit a three. I'm like, yeah, and now you're down 10 instead of 5. So yeah, it was a rough day for the Bama squad. You got anything else for us?
Well, what it seems like that the games that we have lost and we fought back, we haven't gotten that extra little push to take it over the top. Just like you said, we'll get a ball, we'll get the ball in transition. We got the numbers, but we missed a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things. And then another thing that really lit their crowd up was that one where the guy threw an alley-oop and he was like 2 or 3 feet above the rim.
Yeah.
And he slams it down.
Yeah.
And that got the crowd really going.
Yep. Nothing like a dunk to get a crowd going in basketball.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But I think if we get a little bit of luck and we can continue, if we can shoot the ball consistently the whole game, I think we'll make some noise. I think that he just needs a little bit more maturity, and I think he needs to. I don't think he has enough confidence in his shot.
Yeah. Yep. And if you don't, you have to be like Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton really couldn't shoot the ball that well from the outside. So he was extremely overly aggressive going to the hole. And that's what Davison, and he was going to make you foul him or he was going to finish at the rim. Yeah. All right.
Colin didn't have 2 guys counterparts that were, very good. I mean, they were good, but they weren't obviously in the league of college. So he didn't mind taking over. He didn't, he didn't have guys ahead of him that, had the potential and the ability that Quinterly and
they were all the same age instead of them being older guys and him being the young guy. They were all the same age. And he kind of established that from the time he came. So it wasn't going to be a detriment to the team dynamics. Where if I think J.D. Davison pushes, then there could be other guys that could be jealous of it. So potentially. Thanks, George. Appreciate you.
Thanks for my call, Mark.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lewis, Curtis Lewis, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, as far as J.D. Davison goes, it's just one little simple thing to that. He don't have any dog in him. Nobody on the team got any dog in him. Colin Sexton just had a lot of dog.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go in, you don't give a rip when you got guys older than you, younger than you. They are meaningless to you. You're going to go get yours. And so, unfortunately, J.D. doesn't have that in him right now.
Right.
He gets drafted, but that's just something you either got it in you or you don't have it in you.
Do you think that he needs to be more aggressive? Do you see him passing the ball up at the rim sometimes?
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, he is.
Who are you passing it to?
Yeah, I mean, he is above. What's crazy is not only is he at the rim, most of the time he's above the guys, and he's throwing a pass, and he throws the pass. He throws more passes that come from a higher point going to a lower point than anybody I mean, it's like he's at the rim, and I'm like, finish, and then he'll throw it back, and it'll hit the defender's hands who's actually on the ground between him and the other guy instead of finishing. He gets caught in the air more than any player I think I've ever seen with his talent level.
Yeah, that's true. And it's a mentality. That's all it is. He just does not have that mentality that he's the best thing on the court. If you want to beat us, you got to beat me.
Yeah, that's right.
Him at this point.
Right.
So
agree.
And that's okay. As far as the some of the other sports we've got going on for with the gymnastics, I don't feel bad about the gymnastics. Like you said, they're a top 10 team. Now, they obviously seem to downward from where Sarah Patterson had them, but Sarah Patterson had him as an elite program for a long time.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a little slippage at some point in time. The team that worries me that we have never cared about since Moody was gone, and that's the girls' basketball team. Even though they won against Texas A&M, we are not even in a league with teams like South Carolina and the Connecticut. And even though we beat Tennessee's still a better program. I mean, we're not competing on those levels.
Yeah.
And it's we could be doing something. Show the girls that we give a rip and get somebody else to get them girls to the point where they can compete. They may not win every game. Nobody is.
Right.
But be able to get there and compete. That's all you have. the winner to come.
Yeah, and you know, you bring up a good point. You look at what we do and this is talking about women's sports. You look at what we do in golf. They've continually competed. Soccer is getting better. Gymnastics has been great and is still one of the top 10 programs in the country. And go back and look at how many of the other top 10 programs are SEC programs. That's that's what I was trying to get Pat to see is that everybody else, it's not that Alabama is a lot worse. Go back and look at the scores Alabama's are getting now. The problem is the scores that they used to get don't win as much as they used to. And so it's not that the gymnasts are worse. And then, of course, you know what softball has done. So you're right. Eventually basketball has to come up and get better and higher. And the question becomes, is Alabama viewed as one of those places that you can't get a top-notch coach in? I don't know. And I'm friends with, the basketball coach there, or acquaintances and stuff, but you're right. It's the only program that has not got to that championship level, or you've seen a steady progression.
That's true, and I don't understand why that is. If we try to compete and everything, it looks like we just don't give a care about the girls' basketball team.
And that's why I said, I wonder, have they tried? And I don't know. I can't answer that. It's an interesting question. And is it? And then I guess, and to your point, is it possible, Curtis, that they're better than they were, and that's the standard that we have, or do we expect? Or have we settled as a program at a university that this is what we are?
It does seem like we settled, because even at that one, before we got Coach Curry in there, at one point they put, and the guy's a great guy. We know he's done a lot for the university and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
He should have never ever been a head coach in girls basketball.
That was bad. That was a bad move.
Yeah, horrible move.
That was a bad. That was a bad move for a lot of reasons, but yeah, that was a bad.
Yeah. But now, as far as the girls' softball team, I think this is the year that Berkeley went out and got some hitters. So there's a couple girls on that team that's stroking that damn ball like Taylor's in the field.
Curtis, they are shutting people out. I was looking at the score the other day. I was like, oh my God. Not only this year, we've had the pitching before, but this year it appears that that we're run ruling people and giving up 1 point or shutting people out so far, and we've taken out a couple top 10 programs already. So it is it's like the schedule looks like it's a lot tougher this year. Alabama beat Utah Southern Utah 11-0, 5 innings. Oregon State, which was a top program, 5-1. Arizona, which was a top 10 program, 11-0. That's top 10 program in 5 innings. New Mexico State 8-3, 10-2, and then they come back. And Virginia Tech is the only game that they didn't run a score up on them. They beat them 1-0 and 2-0. Shut them out. They're a top 8 team. Then they're 8-0. Middle Tennessee 9-1, 5 innings and 6 innings. So in the first, let me see, first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, they have run ruled in 5 innings 4 times and 6 innings once. Their opponents. So
look at the long balls.
I know.
Great pitching, but we got that. So we got the long ball. We just don't have one hitter. We had one girl who could hit the ball.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just playing
slappers.
Slappers.
Yeah.
He's just going yard on people left and right.
Yeah, that's gonna be. And I'm gonna tell you, women's softball is one of those sports, man. I like on Saturdays when I flip the television on and I run across an Alabama game. It is so much fun. It's so much action, so much fun and fast paced. It's fun to watch. So it looks like I think they call themselves Team 26. It looks like Murphy has everything to make a deep run if these young ladies are able to keep it up.
He does. I really like what he's done. He's done great ever since he's been there. But this year, I really think he got a girl who's going to take Oklahoma out.
Yeah, we're going to watch it and follow it. Thanks, Curtis. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Lamar. You have a good one.
You have a good one. All right. Hey, that wraps up this edition of the Martin Houston Show. Thanks for being part of the program. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, chatters, viewers, and our producer. Thanks for all of you being a part of the program. Hey, we didn't get to anything but basketball. Had a little bit of other sports around the capstone at the end. But we'll be back here to pick up the conversation on tomorrow at 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is always open for business on this show. And remember this. This is the home of Alabama sports. This is the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Alabama sports. Your show, your team. Roll Tide, guys.